Recording is on.
Please confirm that I can see my screen.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon once again, everyone, and welcome to today's section. Yesterday we talked about product delivery, and previously we've talked about product execution. We started from product ideation and validation, and today we're going to be talking about product operations, which is product ops. So we need to know what product operation is, why it matters, what's the difference between product operations and product management. So that's what we're going to be looking at yesterday. I believe we were able to attempt yesterday assignment as well on validation and ideation and validation. Have we been able to attempt? Okay. So has anyone tried to attempt it? Okay. Yes. Tough for me. Okay. That's fine. That's fine, no problem. We'll look at that too. But please let's do what to uh attempt it. So what is product operations in my heart? Now look, just put the words together in literary terms like I always say. Product. We already know what product is and what operation is. Operation is something like day to day activities. So now, product operations. When we talk about product operation, it's a discipline that focuses on optimizing product processes. So think of it as a discipline, an act that focuses on optimizing product processes, tools, data, and collaboration to product teams and data so that product team can work faster and more effectively. Now, what's this trying to say? Operations, like I said, has to do with something like day-to-day processes, flows, yeah, you can call it flows. So when you talk about product operation, you talk about processes, putting processes in place, putting tools in place, putting data in place, collaborating, all of these things that you've put in place, which is the processes, which is the tools, the data, the flow charts. So you're using this to collaborate with the product team so that work can be faster and more effectively. So it supports product managers and cross-functional teams. So what product operations does is it supports PMs and it also helps. other cross-functional teams by handling operational tasks, enabling PMs to focus on strategy and building the right product. Now, product operations, it's also like a role and it's a process as well. It's a discipline on its own. And while we're even talking about product operations when we are product managers, it's very important that we talk about product operations, especially when you find yourself in organizations or in countries where they they don't employ all of this and you have to juggle between the role of a product manager and the product operations. So you need to have an insight into what product operations is all about. So in most organizations, our product managers still run the role of product operations. You are there even after launch, ensuring all of these things are in place. So it's very important that we talk about it. So see product operations as a discipline, focusing on optimizing tools, like making the work of a PM, making the work of product team easier, making the work of product team efficient. So that's what product operations is for. So you make that work more easier for them. You support them. You support them in as much as the PM is supporting cross-functional team. You are also supporting the team by handling operational tasks. It's usually handling of the operational tasks. So it enables our PM rather than PMs diverting or digressing to managing of the business side of things, the operational side of things. It helps them to focus on strategy so that they can end up building the right product. So organizations that are financially buoyant enough would employ a product operations manager. But if you find yourself in an organization where you don't have product ops, then you should, as a product manager, be able to fit in perfectly for it. And you should also be able to apply for roles that has to do with product operations. Just like we have engineering team, we have an engineer, we also have a like we have developers, we have you must have head of DevOps. How many of us have head of DevOps? Let me type it in the chat box so that you see it. Dev. So this is how it is spelled. It's so many of us have heard of this. Anyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Adidamala. Outside Adidamala, any other person? Adamala, can you give us like an insight into what a DevOps does? Any idea?
I'm not sure, but I think they develop um, software or like they build products or something. I don't know, but like that's just like what I feel.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Adidamala. Okay, Tofumi, I've heard too. Okay, awesome. Tofumi, can you help us with what a DevOps does? Okay. So Tofumi, you said yes. So please help us. Any idea of what they do? Tofumi, we are waiting. Any idea?
Tofumi said her mic is no
And she can just
working.
use the chat box for us.
Typing.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, how is your voice? I hope it's getting better. Hope it's not because of the voice and your mic is not working. Okay, so when we talk about DevOps, okay. Oh, Tofumi already said something. It's a very way of working where software developers, where software developers and like its operational teams work together. Okay, okay. All right, thanks to Fumi and Damola for your input so far. So when we talk about DevOps now, DevOps does more about operational, about maintaining routine check, managing the server. So they're more responsible for the virtual server and the software automation maintenance. So anything that has to do with maintenance, uh the DevOps is usually at the forefront of that. So they necessarily don't write the codes. They rather do more of managing all of these things. So they work hand in hand with developers. And you see most organizations, they might not even have a DevOps. The developers, experienced developers can do this. And some organization can even have it as a part-time that only comes in when there is need for server maintenance, there is need for any additional tasks that is not that their developers cannot handle. Yes. So DevOps engineers are responsible for anything that has to do with the infrastructure of the system, uh, processes around the application building, the testing. Like they they do like a manual. Let me say manual or the flow. Okay, for engineers to do this. This is how they should work. It's more of like highlighting the features, the processes for them, the flow. So they are heavily involved in the beginning of any software because they need to lay down, okay, this is how this project is going to be built. So they set up all of these automations, they provide server, they configure server, all of that. So they do it. And why am I bringing DevOps? Okay, somebody saying like it's just a way for people who make apps and the people who keep running it. Yes, thank you very much, Tofumi, for that. Exactly. So now, why do I have to bring DevOps into this? Because it's similar to product managers versus product ops or product management and product ops. Now, when we talk about product operations now, it has to do with the process, the running of it. They even work more after launch. Their work is usually much more what's it called? Bigger after launch of the product. So they assist the same way we have DevOps is the same way we have product operations as well. So they assist after launch, before launch, they create flows and the like. So simply put now, product ops it's the operational backbone of a product team. So it's usually the backbone of a product team because they work with the product team, making sure that the systems, the processes, and the communication channels work smoothly so that the product functions and can scale. So the work of a product up is to ensure that the operational flow and the processes are in line and there is no bridge in communication. You need to ensure that that communication is there in order to work smoothly so that the products that they are building, you don't only build products for now, they build a product that can scale. So that's why they work hand in hand with the product team. Now, why product operations matters now? Product operations exist because product team often struggle with the following. Now, without product as operations now, the product team often struggle with misaligning tools and processes. When it comes to tools, especially analytical tools now, there's usually a misalignment on the tools and processes. Okay, which tools should we use to get customers feedback? Should we use Mixpanel, Google Analytics? But when you have a product operations team, they will be able to handle this. You don't have to keep struggling about what tool to use for this at this stage of your product life cycle. What tools are you going to use for these and what are the processes? So the product operations team should be able to provide this for you. Another one is the product team often struggle with data scattered across system. So there are usually so many data and product team, especially if you don't have a business analyst skill, getting that data would be something like it's going to be kind of very complex and difficult to get all of this data because data is scattered everywhere. You're seeing data here, you're seeing data there, so many informations to take in at the same time. So this is where product operations team would also come in. Then poor cross-functional communication. It is not everybody that can really communicate well and work cross-functional well. But in organizations where you have the product team, they come and help you with that communication to ensure that uh, this information is communicated well to all stakeholders. They do more with external stakeholders, ensuring that okay, all of your product ideas, all of your product validations, your product execution and delivery are communicated to the external stakeholders, reaches where they ought to be. So now, and also lack of operational standards. So when product team struggles with, oh, there's no operational standard that, oh, this is how operating procedures should be, or the product operations team will step in and be like, oh, okay, this is how things should be done. So now the product operations team helps to solve this by, how do they solve this problems that the product team struggles with? They help to solve it by improving the operational efficiency. Now they improve operational efficiency in the organization. They enable data-driven decisions. Since they're able to gather all of these data that are scattered across the system, they're able to get all of these and enable a data-driven decision. So they make decision based on this data that they have gotten. Another one is standardizing workflows with templates. So rather than saying, oh, okay, you don't even know what the workflow is, they create templates. Okay, if you're writing your PRD, this is how your template should be. Okay, if there's any documents you are writing, this is how the template should be. So they provide all of this. Then they also help to scale a product organizations without adding kiosks. So yes, another thing they do is they help you to scale that product. You've built a product, so they scale it. Okay, this product now that we've built, how do we scale up? How do we get more customers? How do we even improve on what we've done? So product operations team helps you to do this. But as I'm looking at this as well, like I said, always have it at back of your mind that these are things a product manager should also be able to do so that in case when you find yourself in that situation where you are juggling and doing all of this, then you'll be able to fit in perfectly. So you don't have to say because it is the work of the product operations team, you now leave it for the product. What if you don't have a product operations team? You don't even have a product operations team. So I juggle all of those things. So now let's look at the product operations versus product management. For product operations, it focuses on processes, tools, and workflows. While product management focuses on the product strategy and the customer's problem, which you will agree with me, we talked about this in uh, some of our classes, where we said, okay, oh, you need to, as a product manager, you are responsible for your product strategy. How do you want to be? What strategy are you going to use? All of these things are in your jurisdiction. What's the customer problem? What's the pain points? What are you trying to solve? How can you come in to solve these customers' pain points that you have noticed? It is within your jurisdiction to do that. But when we now talk about product operations now, it focuses on the processes. Okay, product managers have said, okay, this is the problem and this is how I want my product strategy to look like. So, what are the processes to ensure that this strategy works? What tools are we going to use? What's the workflow going to be like? These are things that the product operations team will now start talking about. And mind you, you also agree and remember that in some of our classes as well, we talked about tools, product managers tools. We did not say product operation tools. So we did not leave it like, oh, it is none of our business that product manager should not know about any tools. We talked about tools. So now this is how you fix in perfectly into the product operations team. When you don't have a product operations team in your organization now, you have done your strategy, you have cited customers' problem and preferred solution. Now you focus on how the process is going to look like as well. Then the tools. That's why you were taught about different program managers, tools, and workflows as well. Workflows, flow charts that you can use to ensure that you communicate all of these your ideas. So this is what you are going to uh, use in all of this. So a PM has an idea of what the product operations team also have. Another one is at product operations, I'll start with product managers. As product managers, you lead the product vision. You are the CEO of the product. You see what vision the product has. Now, the product operation will now help you enable that this your vision is efficient enough. Yours as a product manager is to see that this is the vision of this product. Why the operations team will now be like, okay, this vision, is it efficient enough? So you look at the efficiency in the vision. As product manager, you define what to build. You are the one that will say, this is what I'm going to build though. This is why I want to build it. You know that already. You know the what and why. So now for product operations now, they manages the data pipelines, the tooling, the feedback loops. Now you have decided that this is what you are going to build. They will not help you with, okay, the data that you needed to build all of these. Okay, even after you have built it, are you going to get feedbacks, reviews? So they are in the feedback loops. They're helping you get all of these things. They're like, okay, what tools are we going to use? You've already said this is what you build. Okay, no doubt, build it. Why we help you look for how to get data. So we manage the data, we manage the feedback. So they manage all of those things and come back to you. So it's more of like relieving you of your work. Doesn't mean you cannot do it, but relieving you of all of those roles. Now another one is product managers will make strategic decisions. Yes, it's one of the things you should do. You make strategic decision. Okay, well, after looking at this, I've decided to go ahead with this feature. Why did I go ahead with this
fixture because this add more values than these other features. So you make strategic decision. Oh, I'm going to trade off this particular feature. So your decisions are strategic. A product operations team now, they will now standardize the practice. They standardize it now. You said, okay, this is why you do this. This is why you trade off this feature. Now they will standardize it by saying, okay, going forward in organizations, in this organization, if we are building anything, we go for the must first, and we look at depending on the prioritization techniques or the data you're using to make your strategic decision. Now they will now standardize it that okay, so that other persons coming after you can follow that process. So it's more of standardizing the practice. Then another one is the product team, which is the product management. The product manager owns the product, as we all know. For the product operations team, they support the product team. They don't own the product. They don't own the product. They are not the owner of the product. What they do is they support the product team. They come to make the work easy. They just make it easy. They lift up some burdens off you as a product manager. So it's not like they're taking over your role. They can't take over your role. As a product manager, you can be doing your product manager and doing your product operation. But a product operations person cannot come and start doing the work of a product manager. That's why product management is very unique. Like it's a very unique role. Like you can juggle between roles. Like there are so many hats that you wear at a product manager. You wear the act of a project manager. You wear the act of a product owner. You wear the hat of a QA. You wear the hat of product ops. So many hats. So you should be ready for that as a product manager. It's an exciting career path though. So any question based on this before we move on?
No, ma.
Alright, so move on. So, what are the core responsibilities of operations? The first one is the process optimization. Always note that the product operations team they deal with optimization. Optimization is the key thing that they do. Process optimization, processes, sorry, is the key thing that they do. So they identify bottlenecks. Where there are bottlenecks, they identify it and they standardize workflows. So one thing that they do here is when there are bottlenecks, they are able to easily identify it, standardize the workflow so that the product works in predictable and efficient. So that the product work is predictable and efficient. So what this means is when they recognize bottlenecks, if there is any loopholes, they're able to quickly see that, they're able to see all of those blockers and standardize the workflow. So when they do this, they make the product work predictable and they make it more efficient. Predictable in the sense that you've run this process for this product or for this feature and you're trying to do another thing and you're trying to do another feature. So since they have standardized the process now, so that same standard that you have used to build feature one can now be applicable to feature two. So it's eradicates all of those times that you now have to start thinking of okay, how do I go about this again? So they standardize the process for you. Look at an example then. So standard yes, I talked about this earlier. Standard templates for PRD. So rather than they even know like how your PRD should look like. So product operations team can help you like okay, going forward in this organization, This is how our PRD should look like. This is a standardized PRD template. So for every product, for every features, then you start going with that template. You start working with that template. So they help with that. Another example is they define the sprint reviews routines. Now, product operations team can come and say, okay, your sprint reviews now, how is the routine going to be like? Are you going to be having your sprint review every one week? Okay, and when you have your sprint review, what's it going to look like? Is it your engineers coming on board to start demoing the applications to you, or the project manager will take up that responsibility, or is it the product? So they simply put processes in place. They save you that stress of as a PM, try and go and figure it out. So they will divine that for you. Another example is the cross team coordination forum. So now you have your daily stand up in your agile environment. So product team will now be the one to say, okay, for this your daily stand up, oh, this is how the coordination will be. We want the project manager to be coordinating, or the product operations team will be coordinating, or the product team. So they will be the one to do this coordination. They will be the one to do all of these coordinations. The second one is the tools and the technology management. So product operations team now evaluates, config, they evaluate, they configure and integrate tools. Now, the way it should be normal, it shouldn't be your work as a product manager to start integrating tools, looking for tools to you. But yeah, if you find yourself in that situation, you don't have to do it. So now, the product operation teams will be the ones to integrate those tools. They will evaluate, they will configure it. So tools like we've talked about Jira, Confluence, Figma. So the team will not have to waste time on tool mismatch. Instead of like you're not trying to think, hey, what tool can I use for my ticket, for my spoon? What kind of tools can I use? Start making research. Time where I supposed to use on product vision and strategy. You start using it on another thing. So they will help you relieve all of the stress. So examples there include the first one, tools evaluation and onboarding. So now you are debating like, between using Jira and Asana. So rather than you going online to start looking at the differences between Jira and Asana, or which one will work best for your team, it is the product of the product operations team to look at this and be like, okay, let's go for Jira, or let's go for Asana. Asana works better. What's the onboarding process going to look like? Do we need a company account to register? What's the payment plan going to look like? That's why they are called operations team. So they evaluate this tool so that you end up using the best thing, the best tools, and the onboarding as well. So you don't need to start looking for how you want to onboard. They handle all of this. Another thing is the integration between systems. So if there are going to be integration, they work cross-functional to do that. If you're going to do a third-party integration, you want to have a third-party API to the product you're building, they handle this. But yeah, most situations, most cases, most organizations, you find yourself as a PM doing all of this. Another thing is training and best practices documentation. So yeah, they also create
They also create trainings. They also create best practices documentation, like okay, what's the best practice, how can we go about this, going forward, this should be the standardized process. So it's the work of the product operations team to do that. But yeah, like I said, it's sad that most times you'll have to be doing all of this, and that's the more reason why you are being taught all of this, so that you don't just think that this thing is for the product operations team. As a product manager, you should be able to do all of these as well. All these training manuals, I train my support team. I don't have to wait and say, okay, let me be waiting for product operations team. It's even if you even have product operations team, let me wait for product operations team to come and train support or to come and do manual for every product. I create a manual for it so that a lay person can just come and be like, oh, this is how this product work. So yeah, normally it should be a product operations manager doing that. But as product managers too, uh it should be it should be open minded to learn all of these things, and they are not hard. They are not hard, and you will get used to it as time goes on. Want to, in fact, you it's later you even like, am I supposed to be doing this? But you find it like that's it's part of your work, it's part of you. And why are you even doing this? What's the essence of what advantage do you stand to even get from all of this? It's later in future, like I said, when you see a product operations role, you will perfectly fit into it. You will like confidently apply because it is what you have been doing. So you confidently apply, and when you apply for such roles now, it's not going to be like a less work on you, more of like you are. That role will not even be using your full potential because you're a PM. Your foundation is PM, but you're doing a product operations role now. You don't have to start thinking about product strategy, product vision. You are there supporting the product team. It's like you're being underutilized. So like you fit perfectly well. So that's why it's important that you learn all of these things and do not always have it in mind, or like be don't expect much. Let me just put it that way. Don't usually expect much, especially in organizations that are still trying to grow. Not especially organizations that are just starting, that are not large enough. They don't have the financial capacity to do that. Even some organizations don't have a product managers. Their CEO is the product manager. Yes, it's possible. We have that. It's not like it's possible. It is real. It's things that happen. So that's why sometimes when bartender training, so when you are so lost about like what's exactly the vision or the direction of the product, especially if it's an existing product, is the best person to talk to in an organization is the CEO, the founder, because most founders are the products managers of their products before they started employing product managers. They were the one that have the idea that okay, this is so they have a vision of how they want the product to be. So whenever you lose guard or when you are lost in thoughts, just meet with them. You can get one or two insight from them because they understand the product very well. They've envisioned how they want that product to look like. So yes, imagine there's an organization that doesn't even have money to pay product manager, and the CEO is in the product manager. You're now looking for they now manage to even employ product manager. You're now looking for product operations. So don't be don't have like very 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 high expectation when it comes to all of this. Try and be able to fix in for anything at all. That's why most times you see products slash project manager in job roles. Yes. you still fit in for it. You don't need to say, hey, I don't have project manager experience. Are you not the one managing your engineers? You're a project manager too. So you fit in perfectly for that kind of job. So the more reason why you're being taught all of this is have an insight. Yes, if you find yourself in an organization that has this, oh fine and good. Then you relax. In fact, it's very necessary that you are knowledgeable about it when you work with an organization or a team that has the product operations team. So if you work with an organization that has a product operations team, you will know what you are supposed to do. You will not go and be too forward and be doing the job of an operation manager, a product operations manager with your own job. You already know what and what you will do. So you don't go extra mile. So see, don't try to do more than you can do when you have a product operations. Allow everybody to do their role. Let them play their role. So when you have a product operations team, you already know that this is the work of the product operations team. This is your own work. You don't end up doing your work and still doing the work of the product operations team. It makes that position what's it called? I don't know the right word for it now. Underutilized or something. So but yeah, it's very important that you know that oh, this is the work of a product operations, this is the work of a product manager. So the two roles should not be interchanged or should not be duplicated when you have capable ends that can do each. So it's very important. So that's for that. Let's move on. The third one is the data and the feedback integration. Product operations team build systems to collect, to organize, and to distribute data so that the product team can make evidence-based decision. Now, one, the work of the product operations team is to ensure that they collect and optimize data. When they will be the ones to look for how to collect data from your users, how they are going to optimize that data, how they will distribute that data to you, the product manager, so that from that data that they have distributed to you, you will now make your decision, evidence-based decision now. We've talked about evidence-based decision. We've talked about data collection and how you collect data as product manager and use it to perform evidence data decision. Evidence-based decision, I mean. Now, when you are being taught all of those things, how you try to get users' feedback, how you try to understand your users, you were not told that it was the product operations person that's going to be collecting that. That's because product management training will groom you into being independent so that when you find yourself in a team whereby the team is very small, you'll be able to pick up. You will be able to pick up. I found myself in an interview before that they asked me what's the minimum number of product team that you've ever worked with. I said, oh, one, myself as the product manager. And that is it. Like you can build your own products yourself. You might find not even like in your organization now, your organization can still even pity be not be considerate now. Still have maybe you as a product manager, maybe a QA, a developer that writes the codes. So, but just look at it if you are building your own personal products now. If you are building your own personal products before the implementation stage, which we talked about yesterday, before the execution stage now, you will be your own number one product manager. You will be your own developer, DevOps. Not like you write the code now, you've not started execution. It's execution that you need to go and bring a developer. You'll be your own, even when you now finally manage to bring a developer, you'll be your own QA because you've not started making money from it. You'll be your own QA, you'll be your own marketing team, you'll be your own product ops, you'll be your own business team. Everything that you can think of for that product, you'll be everything. You will be everything that you can ever think of for that product. So yes, except for coding, except like you're writing the code. And some program managers even write codes that engineers, developers that transition into product managers. So in that case, themselves, in fact, him or herself is enough to do a product or to launch a product. You write the code, you test, you are behind the ideas, everything. So yes, product management trainings will groom you for all of this because you need to be everything that you can be. Like everything except if you don't know how to write the code. Every other thing, a product manager should fit in. A product manager should fit in for everything. There's this funny was it's not even funny, sha. It's not funny, like it's the fact. I came across a post sometimes last year that the lady was saying, I don't know, maybe how many of us have seen that post. The lady was saying that if you want to if you want to date a tech guy, that you should be ready. Like you should be ready to like run mad because I be like a founder now that wants to be a founder himself. Maybe your boyfriend is somebody that is just that has an idea to create a product. Okay, be ready to be his product manager. Be ready to be his marketing team. Be ready to be his QA. Be like just be ready for everything because he can call you at the middle of the night and start sharing ideas with you, looking for validation and all of that. Like they're ready to even be called to you because tomorrow on Tech About they can say that okay, your boyfriend has launched this product and people will come on Tech About and start insulting him that he has stolen people's money. Like just be ready for everything. And if you're not ready for all of that, just go and date a bank, a not even go and date a union bank worker. If you know you're not ready for all of that. And that's like honestly, I don't know why the lady will choose it. So just go and date a 9 to 5 union man worker jejely if you're not ready for all of that. And that's like a program manager jobs too. You will be at the center of everything. You are the one doing this, you are the one doing that. So it's really grooms us. It grooms us for all of this time. So that when you find yourself in that situation, you want to build your own product, you don't have all this capacity yet, or maybe you're working with a friend that is an engineer to help you write the code. You need to do all of these things. So that's why it is later in the training, like you see, that we now started okay, separating, and there's something called product operations. Before now, we don't know that there's something called product operations. So yeah, product manager should also be able to do all of those things. And so when it comes to the feedback, like I said, they send your feedback back to you, but they cannot make decision. They are there to assist you. They cannot make your decisions. So now this is where you come in again as a PM to make your own product decision. And this include what they will do for you includes dashboard and KPIs. You have your dashboard, for instance, you're building a Snapcook app, you have your dashboard. They'll tell you these are the KPIs, these are the key metrics to measure this. And we've talked about metrics where we said product manager sets metrics. Now you are seeing the product operations team coming to help to set up all of these KPIs now. So yes, they helps with this and customers feedback processing as well. So when customers tell you, this is customers feedback, we don't like this, we're not able to do this. What if the application is a bit better like this? So they still help you to process that customer feedback as product operations. That's why they are operations. Surfacing insights to the PM. So whatever insights that they've gotten from the data that that the research they've carried out, the data they've gotten, they now still come and align with the product manager that okay, this is the data insights, this is what they've been able to get. They align with the PM so that the PM can now make his or her own decision based on these insights of theirs. So look at product operations as basically assisting the product team. That's like you need an assistant to assist you and you are just there. Somebody's helping you. That's just it. So they assist. Another one is the cross-functional coordination. Remember that in our class, we said, program managers, oh, you have to work cross functional, and every time we keep ringing it. You have to work cross functional. You cannot work in isolation. Yes, that rule still exists. You have to work cross functional. You cannot work in isolation. You should be able to work cross functional. But if the product operations team come, they make it easier for you by doing that coordination. But when you don't have, you tighten your belt and sit up. So the product operations will act as a hub for communication between the products, the engineering, the support, the sales, and the marketing. So they will be the one calling all of these people into meetings, aligning, responsible for the communication now to the engineering team. And their tasks will include they will be running meetings. If you need to have a meeting with your engineering team, rather than you set up meetings, you just tell them, product operations team, please set a meeting between me and the engineering team working on this product. Product operations team, please set up a meeting with the sales and marketing team. So they help you in running this meeting, gives feedback, overall feedback, insights into the meeting. But that doesn't mean that's not what you should also do as a product manager. I don't have people that help me to set my meetings. I set my meetings myself. So I run all of my meetings myself. If I need to have meeting with the engineering team, I run it. If I need to have with marketing, I initiate all of those things and I take record. I It's very important that when you are having such meetings, because of the lot of things that you have on your table, always take recordings. Take recordings. Normally we use Google Meet, and yeah, if you subscribe for the premium, there's usually this recording. So we use the organization one. So always record and use Gemini AI to take notes. It's very important. Take notes so that you can always come back to it, because sometimes meetings can even overwhelm you. So if you don't have anybody helping you to run all of these meetings, do your meetings and take notes when necessary. Take note. In fact, even if it's not necessary, just take notes. We will always come back to it. That's one thing I'm known for. Any meeting, I will have to record it so that I can come back to it. If anything, I can make reference to it later. So they run your meetings for you, but if you don't have them, run your meetings. Don't wait till engineering team will call for a clarity meeting. Call, check up on them on daily basis. That's why it's an agile environment to have daily stand-ups. For every daily stand-up, the daily stand-ups are usually run by the project managers in organizations. And if you don't have a project manager, you even have well, if you don't have, the product team should run it. Yeah, the product team, you should be able to do everything. You should be able to do everything. So the product team should run it. So when you have your daily stand up with your engineers, you figure out if there are any blockers, if there's anything you need to figure out, bottlenecks. You do all of that on daily basis. On daily basis. So it's very important that you have these skills. So you coordinate, your project manager will coordinate the dev stand-up meeting. But in the absence of your project manager, you step in. You have to wear that shoe and coordinate with them, because you cannot tell engineering team to come and coordinate. Those ones that they don't want to do before. So you are now asking them to come for meeting they don't want to come for before, and you're not ready to coordinate. So yes, you should be able to coordinate with them. So then align on priorities. Align on priorities and bring priorities to them. Align on priorities. When you have your daily scrum meeting, which is the daily stand up, The product operations team will help you align that. With the product team have said this is the priority as at now. They will ensure that the engineering team is working on the priority. The marketing, all hands are on deck. Content are towards that priority. Everybody's working towards that priority. But when you don't have, you align your priorities. Bring your priorities to your, especially your engineering team. Let them know your priority. You don't tell them to build sign up and they end up building forget password. Let them know, ring your priority to them if possible. How do I put it? Pin it, yes. If there's a place on your communication channel, pin it. Let everybody be aware. Pin it to them. Let them know that this is the priority. So it's very important that you align on priorities so that you avoid misplaced priorities and wasted development time and effort. So always ring it to your engineering team and your project manager is very important too, because most organizations that have PMs, project managers now, and you are the product manager, they would want to be in loop of everything as a project manager. They want to be the one telling developer that this is the task you should work for. And that is why you should work cross-functional. Work with the project manager that, okay, these are the priorities I want the engineering team to work on for this project. Now they communicate it. So don't leave your PM, your project manager, to the communication o. Because you might tell your project manager that you want them to build sign up, you go and tell them it's login, there might be miscommunication. So always be in the loop. Always be in the loop. There should be alignment on priorities. Always be in the loop of everything. So that's the work of product operations. But yeah, when you find yourself being that, be in fact, always be in the loop, cross functional. Be in the loop, cross functional, even QA. If at some point, uh I noticed engineering team are working on bugs. Bugs I did not ask them to work on. What is happening? QA has raised bug and they are working on the bug. How? Who asked you to even work on this bug when it's not even a bug? Now, why it's good for you to align is there are some things your QA will now tell you that this thing is bug, but it is not bug. You know that it is not bug. It is set up. If you have set up something to this, it will not reflect this. To them, they think it's a bomb, and the engineering team will now be wasting time working on what they are not supposed to work. That's why it's now important that everything align with them and be in the loop. It's a lot of things to do, but it's usually better that you're in the loop. Now, for instance, now we use Jira to create all of those tickets. So what will I tell them to do? Okay, QA, anytime you are raising tickets, please, you are raising ticket to this engineer, just copy me, just CC me there, copy me in each of the tickets. When you copy me, I get an email that I've been copied on this thing. I might have like 20 copies, no problem. You've copied me on 20 tickets. At my free time, I can say, okay, let me look at five today, let me look at five tomorrow, let me see if these things are really bugs or these things are really fixes or features that needs to be worked on, or recommendation, because most times you see QA recommending recommendation, why not do this? They don't even know why you did that in the first place. So yes, it's better that you are in loop of everything. So just tell them. So that's what I do tell them. Just copy me, BCC me in all, BCC me in all the tickets, so that I'm seeing the communication, I'm seeing if this thing is what you should go ahead and do, or what you should not go ahead and do. So it's very, very, very important that you do this as product managers, at product operations. So it's very, very important. Okay. So another one is reducing silos. So they help you reduce all these barriers. They help you reduce it, like you are able to communicate freely. There are no obstacles. So it's the work of the product operations team to help you do that as well. But like I said, when you don't have such, You tighten your button and do it yourself. Okay, so we'll move on to the fifth one, documentation and operational standards. So your DevOps helps you to create and maintain templates. Yeah, they create document templates for you. Playbooks, different manuals that you need in the organizations, they create that. Checklist, you have 50 features that you want to build, or you have 30 tasks that you want to do. The checklist, the one you have done, the one that you are yet to do, the ones that are complete, the ones that are not yet completed. They checklist that for you. Then another one is component libraries. So this case, now they help you with what do we call this now? Like data keeping, information keeping, such that for this particular product, you are able to go there and quickly figure out that these are all the documents relating to this product. These are all the documents relating to this. So they maintain that component libraries within the organization. So doing all of this saves time and doing all of this saves time and preserves institutional knowledge. So all of these will save time, helps you to focus on the main things that matters on the product as product managers. And also there is this institutional knowledge that okay, when somebody leaves and that person comes, you don't have to start onboarding and just share them all the documentation. Onboarding, you agree with me, can be so strenuous. As a product manager, if you need to onboard another product manager, for instance, or you just need not even onboarding is part of your it's part of your thing, but it's kind of stressful. Let me put it that way. Because if you need to onboard your engineers as a product manager, you need to onboard your QA. So it's advisable that you have the manuals, have videos, have screenshots. Let me go through it first. If they have questions, they come back to you. But even at that, it's still advisable that you have like at least a section with them, taking them through the products itself. This is how the product works. So they have an insight. So onboarding can be stressful, and it's also the job of product operation to put measures in place. But if you don't have any, you have to do that yourself. So it can be stressful when you have your product plan, when you have product strategies and visions to work on, and you are having employees to onboard. So it's usually not easy. It's usually not easy, but it's usually advisable that you have videos, you have manuals that they can always refer to, even when you take them on that demos, take recordings, so that they can always come back to it. So yeah, it's very important that you put all of this in place so that it helps you when you build when you onboard them, they understand the product and they don't end up building or testing the wrong thing for you. So that's why it's a very important thing to do. So let's move on. So let's look at the product operations and the product life cycle. Well, we know what product life cycle is all about already. So product operations support team from strategy through execution and optimization. So we all know now that the product operations team support the product team through their strategy, through the execution, and they help optimize all of these processes. Now, before planning, product operations will help to build tools, insights, and processes. So before you even start over, I want to plan on this product idea or launching this product. They will help to put in place the tools that will be needed They will help to get insights, customers insights, surveys, questionnaires, primary or secondary data, research method using qualitative or quantitative. They will put all of these things in place and the processes. So now during the execution now, what's their role? What are they going to do? They ensure that the workflows are smooth. Your execution says you're going to build your sign up first, to the login, to the forget password, to the core feature of that product. So product operations team will now look at it and like, oh, are you following this? It's building smooth. Are there any blockers? Are there dependencies? They ensure that things are going on smoothly. Your milestone, you're saying, oh, week 1 to 2, you want to build the sign up feature. Week 3, are you in week 2 and you've not done week 1 job? So they look at this to ensure that the processes are smooth during execution. And when you deliver to the market, what happens? They get the feedbacks and metrics for learning. Now, all this delivery where I said, you will now get feedback, oh, our customers enjoying the application, what are the metrics that you are going to use? Now, the product operations team comes in. That's even where most of their job lies. They help get all of these things for insight, for iterations, for learning purposes. That, oh, okay, this is where we made the mistake in the first version. We can do better in this. They help you get all of this feedback. Now, you as the product manager can now make informed decision about this. So when you talk about product operations, look at it as an infrastructure for the product processes. So it's an infrastructure that helps the product processes. It assists. It's a process that is put in place to ensure to assist whatever it is that the product team are doing. So it's put all of these things in place to ensure that things are going smooth, things are going fine, delivery is fine, they're getting that feedback for you. So look at it as an infrastructure behind or for the product processes. Any question based on this?
No man.
All right, thank you. We'll move on. So yeah, that's that for our product operations. Simple and straight to the point. I'll now explain this assignment that we have here for us. Okay, so now we're going to work on a document. Look at yourself as a product operations person now. You're going to work on a document that covers one, selected product team. So for instance now, in organizations there are usually different product team. Like in my organizations we build different products. So yeah, different products has their own product team. So now fintech app team, depending on what you're building, it can be snap hook team, it can be travel app team. So you select a product team that you are writing the document or working on the documents for. Then the tools and the tools and process inventories. You list the tools. We've already talked about different tools that we can use and how they can be used. Like, okay, from the ideation stage, what tools are they going to be used? What are the process? So you list it. List at least 6 tools. We have a lot of tools. Oh, okay, if they are launching to the market, what tools are they going to use to get customers feedback after launch, before launch, execution stage, what tools, and what are the tools used for. Not it's not enough that you just mention Jira. We don't know what Jira is going to be used for. So you list out these tools. We've talked about tools in one of our classes. Another one now is the product operations initiative. Now propose three improvements that the product operation team should implement. The proposed improvement that the product operations team should implement. Then the success metrics. How would you measure this impact? Number four says three improvements. Okay, the product operations team should do this. How would you measure the impact of what you have proposed? Example includes: is it by the number of times saved? Is it by delays eradicated or higher data usage? So that's on the assignment. Let me know if you understand, and if not, let me explain again. So let's still use our assignment document. So we have two assignments now already. Okay, I should explain again. Okay, let me come again. All right. So just a short Google document. Select the product. It can be Telon, for instance, and you now say Telon product team. Then you now say, okay, what are the tools and process inventory? Or do you want us to even do a sample in this class? How many of us want us to do a sample in this class? Okay, that's all. Just give me a moment. Let's try and sample this out so that everyone understands. Okay, back to the assignment. So you select the product team. Look at it like you are working in an organization where you have so many product team. You have the fintech product team. You have the ones for the edtech product team. So you pick one of the product team that you want to address the document to. Then you now list tools and the process inventories. Now you list five tools and how they are used. E.g., Jira. What's Jira used for? Jira is used for tracking tasks. You put it there. You look for another tool. Is it Asana? What's it used for? You put it there. Then you now identify three operational challenge. That's the pain points now. What's the pain point in operating for the product team? Okay, is it the case that the feedback mechanism it's not efficient or effective enough? You look at that. What can you look at three? Then here now you now propose three improvements that should be implemented. Then yeah, you look at, okay, how do you now measure success for what you've done to ensure that these processes work for you. So let's just quickly do, let me let me open a Google Doc so that we do one here. But I'll just be giving us one example. I won't give us everything. Just slow down. Give me a moment. I'm trying to open Google Doc here. Okay.